Constitution, but it didn't say we should go out and build an empire. So in that regard, he would like to see us diminish greatly our footprint around the world.
But doesn't it make sense to have the war over there than here at home?
Well, certainly, and it has always been over there. It's always been over there because we've been at a strong defense. But why are we over there fighting their wars? Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Iran, all those countries are sitting at home watching the United States fight the war in their area. What's that about?
It's the world's gas station.
Yeah, well, you know something, it'll always be there. There'll always be markets for gas, and we'll get our fair share.
Okay. Now, I've heard there was a movie, I did not see the movie, there was a recent one that said Barry Goldwater would be like a liberal today.
Well, that's not true. Goldwater has not changed his philosophy, nor has Ron Paul. If you look at Ron Paul's voting record, my father's voting record, they're very consistent. What's happened is the party has moved away. The so-called social conservatives, the religious right, has moved the Republican Party into getting involved in federal legislation, involved in welfare. Okay? And as a result, we have seen the federal budget grow far bigger than what it did during FDR's time. And that's not Republicanism. The Republicans want a smaller government. They want the individual to have more freedom, consequently more responsibility for taking care of themselves, their families, education, whatever it is. We don't want to keep going to Washington, D.C.
So earmarks would be bad?
Earmarks are wrong. They're illegal, and they shouldn't be allowed.
Does it bother you that Ron Paul's been putting in a lot of earmarks for his constituents, $400 million last year, and then voted against the bill, but knowing that it would go through?
Absolutely. Yeah. We want Ron Paul to set an example, and that's not a good example. No, earmarks, anything that's authorized and appropriated should be done in the open. The people should know about it. And that's a sneaky backdoor way to get the people's money. And let me remind you, before Ron Paul or any of these Congress can spend any of this money, they got to first take it away from people that are working hard here in New Hampshire.
Barry Goldwater Jr. here on the Rusty Humphries Show. A couple more questions and I'll let you go. Does Ron have a chance? I mean, we see him growing. He's got a very strong constituency.
Well, it's hard to predict. We're still early in the campaign. I might remind you that in 1964, which was a long time ago, I was here campaigning for my father, who was running for the nomination of the Republican Party. He was only a blip on the radar screen. Nobody knew Barry Goldwater in New Hampshire.
Right.
In fact, he lost. Henry Cabot Lodge won on a write-in. Okay? But he went on to become the nominee. So it's not impossible that Ron Paul's message could all of a sudden catch fire. And all of a sudden the constituency just blows up and all of a sudden he has a big following. So don't count Ron Paul out. His message is a real contrast to the other candidates. They all talk the same.
Now, would it bother you if he went off in a third party?
Well, no, that's his business, you know.
Well, I mean, if he did that, it would probably take away enough votes to give the winning.
No, he's not. Well, he's not going to do that because it doesn't make political sense. We have a two-party system in this country, and you're going to sink your own ship. You're not going anywhere as an independent or a third party. He's smart in staying in the Republican Party and trying to change the philosophy and get them back on message.
Is there anybody else other than Ron Paul that's close that you like?
I like Huckabee.
Yeah?
Huckabee's pretty close. I think
what's wrong with him? He's not enough?
Well, he's fine. I don't have a problem with Huckabee. I just think Ron Paul is more consistent. You know where he is. He's been consistent all his life, and he's got a clear message. Very clear, simple. It's right there on target.
Barry Goldwater Jr., I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Bye.